Hello everybody. I'm doing a little bit of a live recording in the beginning here because I thought it would be different for a change. So I'm going to be doing a card for you featuring this stamp set from my favorite things called Spooktacular Friends. And I'm going to Copic color it. Now I was going to make a one-layer card, but you know, one-layer cards are not done well with Copic markers because of the bleed through. So, and I do want to use my Copics, so I'm making a two-layer card. So I figured I would make a card base, so I did. It's going to be a 5x7 card. I needed the room. So this is what it's going to be, my card base and my panel. So I got out my Copic hex chart, and I have a stamping paper for my images. I'm going to be following a color scheme, at least that's what the goal is. I'm doing a collaboration with Cassie Trask for this, and we're both using the same stamp set and following this color scheme, so we're trying to anyway. It's kind of hard with this scene, but I'm going to try anyway. So here's we're using these colors. So we'll see how that goes. And I'm going to make 3 cards. Alright, I'm going to do a scene card to start with, and then we'll see what else I'm going to make. So we'll put this aside. Now I'm using that stamp set, but I'm also going to bring in this Hero Art stamp set for the moon. And I might use a spider web or 2 or a spider, and I think I'm going to use this bat from this Penny Black stamp set. So, without further ado, let's stamp some stuff. So, I hope everybody's having a good day today. It was cold for a couple of days here, kind of chilly-ish, yesterday especially. And now it's going to be like 80s and up to 90 degrees again for the next 2 or 3 days. So, figure that one out. It's like September, apparently. So, I'm going to stamp out my little guys here. Try to color them up using my color scheme. I put the house there. A stamp set is so darling. I love it. The pumpkins. And I'm going to stamp the tree right on my panel. Yeah. That's what I'm going to do. That's the plan, I think, anyway. And I'm going to fill it in. You'll see. At least this is a working idea. You know how that goes. Working ideas. Sometimes go well, sometimes not so well. So I'll go ahead and stamp these out, and I'll start coloring. So I'm going to stop the video now, and I'm going to stamp a bunch of images out for the 3 cards that I'm going to be doing. Alright, so I'm going to color a couple of images for you on camera, and then I will come back and I will start assembling, doing my cards. I'm going to do the first card, a scene card, like I said, with Copic markers. And go from there. Okay, I'll see you back in a few minutes. Okay, so now for some Copic coloring. So I did pretty good with my caps. I showed one, and then I didn't show any. Yeah, I'm not too good with the showing of the cap thing. I either don't have the image on screen, or I don't have the cap on screen. I managed to keep the image on screen this time, so, you know, yay me. So I used some E25s, I believe, on this owl. Is that an E25? I don't know. I have the image down to low resolution in order for it to render faster, or try to don't get frozen on me. And it's been freezing up on me anyway. But anyway, so yeah, I'm doing a collaboration with Cassie Trask, and we are using the same stamp set and making 3 cards. So I end up making 6, but I do 3 of them on camera, I think. and that's why this video is so long. That's why I only put one image. I ended up putting one image in the color in one image. Goodness gracious, can't talk today. So I hope you liked the beginning where I did a live intro to what I was going to be doing. Something different for a change. I figured I would talk about my supplies instead of just pointing them out and doing a voiceover. But yeah, so I finished up my using my browns, and now I'm using my Bs, and I'm using B95, 97, 95, and 93. I think the tans were E25, 20, 27, 25, 23, I think. I could be wrong now. And the lighter pots, I'm not really sure what they were. Everything will be listed in the description below at any rate, as well as on my blog, which I did a blog post for this as well. So I still keep doing blog posts to go with the videos. However, I don't know how much longer I'm going to do that, because honestly, nobody goes to the blog. I mean, I can't say nothing about that, because to be honest, I don't really go to the blogs either anymore. I just go to YouTube, watch videos, and that's it. I don't, you know, the only time I go to blogs if it's a drawing that I'm interested in, or if somebody I like does a card but doesn't do a video for it, like Debbie Hughes sometimes doesn't do the video to correspond with her card. She just does a blog post, so I'll go and look at it then. Anyway, I end up doing a 6x6 card instead of a 5x7, and I used the moon from the Autumn Moon stamp set from Hero Arts, and I cut out a mask, and I'm going to be doing some ink blending. So I'm going to be using Stormy Sky, Wilted Violet, no, sorry, Dusty Concord. I used a little bit of Mermaid Lagoon, I believe, or it might have been Salty Ocean, I think, and some Black Soot. I might have used some Chipped Sapphire too. I don't know. You know, you do things and then the next thing you know, you're like, what did I use? I think that's what I used. Anyway, I put a little too much Stormy Sky. First I put a little too much Dusty Concord, so I had to go back and put some more Stormy Sky, and I go back and forth. I even crinkled my paper a little bit. But once I'm finished, I do spray it with some spray and oxidize it. You don't see a good blending on the bottom because I'm going to put my grass there anyway, so I thought, you know, it's kind of silly to blend all the way down. So yeah, I tried to put a lot of the purple up around the moon. So I'm going to spray it and oxidize it, and then I actually use my Perfect Pearls and I splatter it a little bit. But I don't think I did that on screen. I don't like to do too much splattering on screen because my camera's like 12 inches away from my desk. So when I do splattering, it gets in I'm afraid it's going to get on my camera lens, so I don't like to, you know, so sometimes you'll see that after the fact. I use a little pumice stone on the moon just to dull it down a little bit because it was a little too stark white in the sky. Now I'm going to use my Gina K Connect glue, and I'm going to glue this panel to the card base. I didn't even end up using the black card base. I used a white one. I'm not sure why that is, but there you go. I think it's because I just kept that one as a 5x7 card base and use it for a future card. I'm using a little foam tape to prop up this panel that I cut out of pattern paper, but then I ended up ink blending with bundle sage over it just to try to stick to the, you know, the color palette that we had chosen. So if you notice, this cape is blue instead of purple. I do end up bringing purples and greens in after because I just couldn't help myself. But I mean, this first card is primarily the color scheme, so I'm proud of that. The house is all made with them little taupes that were in that color scheme. And like I said, even the oranges are like more rusty orange than bright orange in this one, and peachy orange, because those are the oranges that were in that color palette. So, and that gray, I used pumice stone on that gray pattern paper for the path because, you know, there was a gray in that color palette. So now I'm going to go ahead and use some foam tape, and I'm going to put that on the back of my images and put that on the card, and hopefully my video doesn't freeze up. Oh, I'm going to actually stamp the tree first. I'm going to overlap the moon a little bit because I just think it looks cool that way, with the branches going over the moon a little bit. And then what I end up doing is taking a gel pen and darkening it up a little bit because I wanted it more silhouette looking. I actually use a white gel pen to color the ghosts in too, so, you know, brings out the ghosts. So you'll see me using my VersaFine Clear Nocturne ink. I really like this ink. It's probably not much better than the VersaFine Onyx Black, but I don't know, for some reason, maybe it's because it's freshly, you know, it's a fresher ink pad, and my Onyx Black one needs to be inked. I'm not sure. I think it feels like it's a little bit darker, but, you know, maybe it's just my eyes thinking that. So I'll go ahead and I will use my gel pen to darken up the tree. Any day now. There we go. Actually, I didn't even use the gel pen. I used the felt tip pen, uni pen. And I darkened up my tree a bit. I even went up into the branches too, just to, no, I guess I didn't. I did do it after. Darkened it even more. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put my images on here. Now, it was freezing up before on me, so let's hope it doesn't freeze up on me again. And I can continue to just do my voiceover instead of having to stop and start it. Because honestly, my voice can't handle much more. No, it's going to freeze up. So I'll stop and start it. I'll be back in a second. Okay, so now I have my rabbit. Yeah. And then the mouse. Okay, it's moving again. Sorry, my videos are choppy lately because, like I said, my my computer's just, it's acting up bad. So you do what you do, right? Until I can squeeze another computer out of my budget, I have to work with the one I have. Of course, if I stopped buying stamp sets and craft supplies, I probably would have had a computer by now, and then some. You know, priorities. Although the computer's getting to be an extreme priority right about now. Sorry, my head is in the way. I am going to use the foam tape and prop up this mouse. Put him on the panel on my scene. And they're basically running up to the house is the whole point of the scene. Which I think other people have done it that way too, but there's only so many things you can do, I guess. Now I'll go ahead and I'll put my owl on the page. Alright, so now I'll do some heat embossing. I stamped the sentiment out on some black cardstock. Simon says stamp black cardstock. I'm using some Brutus Monroe Alabaster embossing powder for my sentiment. And now I'm going to, and I think I used the sentiment Happy Halloween. Yeah, I did. So now I'm going to pick a sentiment out to put on the inside of the card. And one of the images, I like to put both sentiment and an image on the inside of the card. Sometimes I'll put a little pattern paper in there too, but I didn't. I just used the sentiment and an image. And then once that's completed, I go back and I didn't. I actually put them pumpkins. I didn't have any place to put them on the outside of the card, on the scene, because they're too big to go up towards the tree of the house, because then they'd look like they were the same size. You know, the perspective of it just doesn't work well. So it's all good. Now I'm going to use the bats from the Penny Black stamp set, which I think I listed it in here. I used the spider web for the envelopes, which I end up having to do an envelope for this. And I don't show it online, I mean on camera, but I do show a picture of it. So I like the bats on the penny black one. The bats in the stamp set were big. I think there was bats in that stamp set, yeah. And they're a little too big for my scene, I think. I like the smaller bats from this penny black stamp set. So I'm going to stamp three bats. Oh my goodness, my voice is hurting so bad. I have allergies really bad, and it's, I don't know what it is, mold season. I'm not really sure, but whatever it is, it's killing me, to put it mildly. So I'm going to cut down my sentiment and put that on there as well. Wipe off the cardstock with my microfiber cloth. Look at that. I go to do it and it crinkled up my sentiment a little bit, so I have to do it again. I think I end up using scissors to cut it because this cardstock was I don't know if, I think my blade might have been dead. No, I did. I used the trimmer, but I think I cut the end off where I crinkled it a little bit. I think my blade was dull. It dulls so fast on this trimmer. Trimmer's great because I like the wire. Now I'm trying to figure out where to put it. But it dulls, the blades dull so fast. I don't know why, but I keep wanting to get a new trimmer, but I just don't know which one to get. I don't want a gigantic one I can't just pull up on my desk. I already did that with a die cutting machine. I bought a giant die cutting machine thinking, oh yeah, I'll, be able to get all my dies in this, and it's just so big. It's, and then I get too lazy to go over to the die cutting machine to cut things out. Oh yeah, the struggle is real. So I'll use a little foam tape to put underneath my sentiment, and that is pretty much going to be my scene. I think I use a little bit of Nouveau Aqua Shimmer pen here and there, but nope, that's it. Alright, so now my next card, number 2, you see the bunch of sentiments there. I heat embossed a bunch of them because I wasn't sure which ones I wanted to use. So this particular die is from Whimsy Stamp. That's why I showed you. It's called Slimline MARQUEE, and I just thought that was just the coolest thing. It makes you have to put it on a thin card, a thin long card. I want to say it was 3.5 by 9 or 3.5 by 8.5. It fits in a like business sized envelope. So I'm taking them little panels out, and I am spraying them a little bit, just a little color. I just want a little color in the back. So use an orange for the orange. This card here I went completely off the rails and didn't use the color palette at all. I just was in a Halloween mode. I was like, oh yeah, Halloween colors, I gotta use them. But yeah, it went pretty simple. Now I'm going to go ahead and use my Connect glue and glue that panel to my card base. And I'll use some foam tape to pop up the inside panels. And then I'm going to put my sentiments in between the windows. So I'm showing you my foam tape. And I think I cut most of this out. I hope. Maybe, yeah, I did. Okay. And they're all in. Now I'm going to figure out which window I want my little critters in, and how I'm going to go ahead and put my sentiments in. I'm going to put my sentiments in between. I chose 2 of them. And then I'm just going to glue them in instead of using foam tape, because there's enough dimension underneath them, I thought anyway. But I had to use a little foam tape for something. Oh, it's for the sentiment. I did use foam tape on the sentiments. I like the way this card came out. I thought it was cute. And then I do use some ebony Nouveau crystal drops too to you know, embellish a little bit because you just got to. I'm going to put some images and a sentiment on the inside and finish my card. I'm using my VersaFine Clear again. I really enjoy using this for my sentiments. They come out nice and black. Using the tree on the inside this time. And the pumpkins. And I think I end it there, yeah. But I do go back and add some crystal drops. So here's my third card. It's very simple and I cut most of it out, but I use that pattern paper from the Midnight Haunting Pebbles paper pack. And then I didn't even spray my panel, which I did on the other cards. You'll see that because I show you all my other cards and the close-ups of them. And I used a stitched alpha die from MFT to make Boo. There wasn't an exclamation point, so I made my own out of the eye. Boo! And there it is. I probably should have used my T-square ruler because, I don't know, judging by looking at it now, it doesn't look very straight, but I used 2 sub-sentiments below it. And then I just prop my little mouse on the top. I don't use that pumpkin. I decided not to use that. And that's pretty much my simple design. I think I show using the ebony drops in this one, but I do embellish this card a little bit because it's a little too clean and simple for my tastes. I love clean and simple cards, but when that wasn't what you were going for originally, it, you know, you just don't see it that way, you know? So I used the crystal aqua shimmer pen, on the sentiment. And here I am with using my ebony crystal drops from Nuvo. And I like using these. It's like doing controlled spatter. And there's the close-up of all my cards. So there's the first, well, that's the second one. Maybe I didn't show my big one again, the scene card, but as you can see I did 5 cards. And then I showed that one. And then spooky with a sub-sentiment, boo from me to you. I did use my distress sprays on those panels because they were just too plain. I probably would have used it on my other ones, except that it was too late by the time I thought of it. I'm like, why didn't I put it, and the other thing is I didn't think to use my distress sprays over top of a stencil, for example, until after the fact, because the spider web in the corner there would have looked pretty cool. But I was going for simple, and simple it went. So there's my scene card. Complete. You see how big those bats are? And the other bats were a lot bigger, so I thought that, it worked out much better. And so here's my close-up photos. So the supplies I use will be listed in the description below, as well as on my blog. If you have any suggestions for a future video, leave me a comment, or if you'd like, just say hello. I hope you enjoyed today's project with this collaboration with Cassie Trask, and if you did, why not go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to go over and look at Cassie's video now, because she did one too. Alright, so I appreciate all your support. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a fantastic day. I'll see you soon. Bye now.
Ha 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 ha.